Thank you so much for clicking on this video. This is going to be a Witcher 3 next-gen upgrade hands-on preview sort of rundown. I'm going to look at Eurogamer's write-up. I'm going to sort of give you the bullet points from it that I thought will help you just get sort of a general idea of what is coming in this update that hits on December the 14th as a free update. So that is next week. I'm doing this live stream on December the 7th, and I try to put all the good information right at the beginning of the video. It's a longer video because it's a live stream, and we're going to look at some of the videos as well. I've got a couple of videos of side-by-side comparisons to break down and look at. I'm going to end the member stream that we do in the middle of the day and bring everybody over. If you want to hang out with me in the middle of the day when I take a bit of a lunch break and I do some fun segments with the members, consider becoming a member. Hit that join button. So let me quickly give you this rundown from Eurogamer with their hands-on preview. They talked about a handful of things, how it played better than before, what exactly do you get in the various modes, there's ray tracing, how did performance mode do, PC gets a little bit more, and there's also quality of life updates that are hitting more than just the next-gen platform. So let me break this down for you. Now, Eurogamer says, we were not allowed to direct capture at the event, but we were provided with footage for the first 15 minutes of the new update running on PS5 and the Series X in both their performance and ray tracing modes. More than enough of a preview for this full breakdown. So basically what they got was 15 minutes on the PS5 and the Series X. Now, they say that it plays better than before. They said The Witcher 3 on PS5 and Series X impressed hugely in the 4 hours that we played it. So they spent 4 hours with it, and not just in the visual upgrades, which includes reworked foliage, 4K textures, and higher quality models throughout. There are also significant quality of life improvements, so it's not just prettier, it runs better. They said there is a revised camera and faster controls for using signs, the magic spells of the Witcher universe. So faster controls for combat, essentially. Like, that should make things be a little bit more fluid for you. All told, the game truly looks and plays better than ever before. Now, what modes do you get? What exactly you're going to get on the various platforms? Now, they just had access to the PS5 and the Series X. The Series S was not present, so we don't have details on what it looked like or how it ran. They said PS5 and the Series X versions of the game offer a 60 FPS performance mode and a 30 FPS ray tracing mode, each of which uses AMD's FSR 2.1 upscaling to produce a 4K output with dynamic resolution scaling. That's a lot of words. What that means is you're going to get a 4K output with dynamic resolution scaling, meaning the resolution will go up and down as needed in order to succeed with all of the various things that it's trying to do. Now, FSR 2.1 also takes over anti-aliasing duties from the older FXAA and the TAA. Those are anti-aliasing, making things look smooth. That's basically being handled by FSR. If you're not familiar with what FSR is, it's just something in the background that's sort of processing things quickly to make them look better and run better, like layman's terms. Now, on computers with NVIDIA chipsets, they have access to the DLSS. It does almost like this adaptive thing. It like learns how to run better on your system. That's basically like the layman's explanation. So what this does is they said it provides a much more stable image as a result. So all of these things, all this techno jargon basically just means it's good. It runs good. Okay, so how did the 30 FPS ray tracing do? They said starting with the 30 FPS ray tracing mode, we see two forms of ray tracing enabled: global illumination and ambient occlusion. The first allows lighting to bounce realistically between surfaces, shading and coloring the corners of the world, while the second ensures objects are better grounded in their surroundings with more believable shading. Together, the effects have a transformative effect on many scenes, especially those indoors or otherwise indirectly lit. Now, the comparisons that they show, they say it doesn't do it justice. This person says, in my time playing the game on PS5 and the Series X, I found the differences substantial. So they're like, listen, we can show you comparisons. It's not really going to do it justice. Now, how did performance mode do? So that's the 30 FPS ray tracing mode. I myself would set my sights on the performance mode. They said if you prefer the responsiveness of 60 FPS, the performance mode is an excellent alternative that's on tap for the PS5 and the Series X. Regardless of mode, you still benefit from the improvements to the foliage and 4K textures, so the only aspect lost here is the ray tracing features and the improved SSR. And while the Xbox One X already had an admittedly unstable 60 FPS option, PlayStation users have until now been limited to 30 FPS on the PS5 due to the reliance on the PS4 Pro code. So you could uptick it to 60 FPS on the Series X, but it wasn't stable because it wasn't like an official patch. I believe it was just like the uptick frames thing, and PlayStation couldn't get it. Performance looked good in our testing, they said, with only a handful of dips below 60 FPS evident in footage provided, although by eye of the center disappear to be dropping frames more heavily. So somebody is saying, listen, when they got to the city center, there were some frame drops. This area was historically the most challenging part of the game in terms of performance and the foundation of our Witcher GPU benchmarks on PC, so it will be fascinating to see how the new consoles and graphics cards handle the next gen version. Now, PC gets more, as I said in the opening. Interestingly, I'm told that PC gets a new graphics preset for many settings called Ultra Plus, which allows for even longer draw distances and denser grass, which could make The Witcher 3 a candidate for our GPU test suite even in 2023. They're also giving you quality of life updates. Beyond the graphical upgrades, there's a myriad of other changes and quality of life improvements, new weather states, higher detail self-shadows in gameplay, a new camera, a new system for casting signs, map filters, faster herb looting, and content related to the Witcher TV show. And the old gen is included here. It's also worth mentioning that the last gen versions of the game on PS4, the Xbox One, and the Switch are set to get the quality of life changes like the camera due to the performance impact and the TV content, which is a nice move. So the old gen is getting some of those things as well. And they said it looks great, but there's no Series S available at testing. So they said from what we've seen so far, PS5 and the Series X hand in a near identical delivery of the next gen update, but we're looking forward to testing the Series S version, which was not available in our session. You'll have to wait about a week, December the 14th, when it officially rolls out. It might be the 15th. I'm like questioning that date now. But in any case, middle of December is when this thing hits for free, and you'll have to wait until then to see the Series S breakdown from the outlets that get their hands on it. And I'll give you sort of my flyover thoughts here. I'm confused as to why they're doing this, for starters, because the CEO of CD Projekt Red said that they were moving beyond the Red Engine. He said that the expansion of Cyberpunk would be the last project in the Red Engine and that all future product would be in the Unreal Engine, which means all of the previously mentioned Witcher games that have been announced aren't even going to benefit from any of this work. They're going to be in a brand new engine. They're leaving the Red Engine behind. So I'm kind of confused by this. Maybe somebody in chat, I am live streaming so that, start discussing things with the chat. I don't know why they did this. Why would you say, let's take this kind of old game that's, been around for a long time and do a massive next-gen free update, non-revenue impacting, in an engine that we're leaving behind? I think that's the only part of this that has me a little confused, unless this is good R&D and research and development for whatever they have plans for all the other Witcher titles. Like, is this going to help them figure things out with textures, with lighting? Even though they are switching engines, maybe they're learning things about ray tracing. Maybe they're learning things about 4K textures. There's a possibility that this is benefiting them. It's a goodwill gesture. Seems expensive as a goodwill gesture, does it not? You forgot about the 4K 30 joke because otherwise they have to remake the game. I'm not sure what you're saying. This is a lot of things modders have put into the game. Yo, Matthew Johnson is going to start things off. We have a member goal every stream. We're going to try this every stream. If you hit 25 members, I have to gift 5, and Matthew's going to kick things off with 5 gifted. We love to get new people in the community and into the members-only content, and we like to space it out so it's happening in different streams on different subjects. We had a huge influx of people a couple of months ago when we were doing Call of Duty coverage, but that was like all one game. So we're thinking this could be a fun way for me to give back and for you to give back and for us to just grow the member base. So thank you, Matthew Johnson, for starting us off. Casey Davidson, WRB, Alexander Smith, and Thyro, and James Barksdale. You guys all got gifted members, you can take advantage of those member segments every day in the middle of the day. And then Friday nights, I do a stream with my wife. That's really fun. So make sure you have all the alerts turned on and get plugged into our Discord now that you are a member. Backport of Cyberpunk tech they already invested into. So that's what you think this is? Aren't they also selling it as a standalone new version of The Witcher 3? It'll get revenue through that and people that haven't bought the game yet. That certainly is true, Jedi Johnny. I didn't realize that. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, look at the strategy that No Man's Sky has taken. We're just going to keep doing updates and making our game awesome. Oh, you want to play it? Yeah, buy it at full price. So they're like, hey, we're going to push out this amazing next-gen update for one of the most praised games in our Rolodex. And you want it? Okay, well, go ahead and buy it, right? I thought you said if I ever got gifted, I was like, WTF? Oh, that would be interesting. Although I would be open to having a conversation with that person if it ever happened. My wife and I would both be willing to talk with them. That's a long time ago, though. They released the complete edition, I think. Not sure. Witcher 3 is sold for dirt cheap, so it's kind of confusing. Right, I was just getting ready to ask that question. What are they? What's the price of The Witcher 3 right now? How much is it? I'll pull it up in Steam right now. How much money are you even going to make on it this far out? $8. It's $8 on Steam. Like, I don't understand. Witcher 3 modders have been paid and credited for the current gen upgrade. So they included the modding community and paid them. So, okay. I mean, listen, mad props to CD Projekt Red for doing that. Mad props to CD Projekt Red for doing that. Seriously. That's huge. I already own it, so I'll take it. I mean, that's a big deal. And the fact that they, like, who knows? Who knows? Maybe this is going to lay groundwork for the next couple of games. You're looking forward to replaying? I already own it, so I'll take it. Also, the interest in the show and people coming back to the game for the first time. I haven't played it in like half a decade, so it will be fun. I remember trying to play this game, and it was around the time I was trying to like find games to play and cover and stream, and it just didn't go very well. You know, it was a hard time as a streamer. You know, because I was still in the early stages, and it was challenging. It was really, really challenging. And I remember being like, man, this is such a great game that I would love to play. So if you're just tuning in, we're talking about the Witcher 3 Next Gen Upgrade hands-on previews. We read through Eurogamer's thoughts on it. We could pull up a couple of videos here. We've got one from, this is from, let's see here, El Analista de Beats. They have, hang on. The Witcher 3 will receive a next-gen update on December the 14th. In this video, we will review some of the new features. So they're trying to go through and grab, this is PC at max. So here's a comparison. This is a nice little snapshot here. So you have old-gen PC Max, and then you have PC Max Next Gen. It's honestly difficult to see the differences on YouTube because the first game looks so good. It looks so good. Like, the top one looks great, you know? You can obviously see that the second one looks a little bit better. There's more detail. There's a little bit more vibrancy. It's not quite as muddy. More color, I believe. You know, better color range. But it's difficult because, and this is one of the things that I've talked about. It's difficult sometimes with these, because the old game did really, really look good. Like, if you look at the difference between here, right? The like button is broken. Check it, chat. Oh, Zyber says the like button's broken. Shut up. Ambient occlusion. Let me go to the other side, because most of us here are going to be English speaking, English reading. Ambient occlusion has been greatly improved thanks to global illumination by ray tracing. So right here you can see what you're getting a good benefit from that global illumination. The thing to look at is the background. Let me get out of the way here in the corner. So you see the trees. There's almost like a fog-like fuzziness. There's a fog-like almost fuzziness to see where I'm pointing with my thumb, and then compare that to the same to the other side. Lots of details now have been added because of that, and just looks really, really good. So that's a great one here. Let me get out of the way. This is a good one to bounce back and forth between here, right? So this hits next week. Just watch the background behind him. I mean, that is nice. And the thing is they're making a nice game look even better. They really are. It is such a pretty game for how old it is. They did such a good job with it. It was ahead of its time in some respects. It takes away the haze look. Yeah, and he just looks lit better. It's not as sharp contrast. You know what I mean? I remember pointing out a lot of this during some of our God of War Ragnarok comparisons. You can see more details in shaded areas when you get better global illumination. It's not so contrasty, right? It's not so dark. So here's Xbox One X, and here's the Xbox SX performance mode, okay? So this is, this is an older version. So here we've got some more side by side. Again, this is going to be a little bit difficult for you to see on YouTube, but the differences in the lighting between the One X on my side and the one on the other, you can see that they're just able to do more. They're able to add a little bit of fog, and the fog is like layered in its density. That's above me in the trees. And then the other game, everything looks a little bit lacking in distinction, lacking in definition, and just not quite as crisp and as clear. It looks a little bit more muddy on the right. Not super noticeable, though. Really, really not super noticeable. I think you're probably going to notice it the most in performance because of how smooth it's going to run. If you're accustomed to playing it at like 30 FPS and stuff. Here, I think you can sort of get an idea of what it's doing with the way that the light is hitting Geralt's back, and you're just seeing a little bit more of the detail, a little bit more of the contrast, right? It's there. It really, really is there, but it is hard to notice. This is why it's free. Yeah, I do think if this cost money, it would have been a little bit rough for people to be like, wait a minute, I don't understand. This is, I'm not seeing the difference being that great or that grandiose, right? Yes, and there is compression issues on YouTube. Thank you, Sniggity Snags. You're watching me watch a YouTube video, so it's like, we're doing a couple of things, right? The new camera angle will change the vibe of the game. Let's try to get some more. I think this is a really, really good shot that somebody might skip over. If you look at how the shadows sort of interplay and hit certain objects, there is a lot more of a crisp feel on the left, and on the right, it does have a bit of a muddy, blurry effect. And so you have to consider like what that's going to look like when you're moving around. Right? When you're moving around and when you're panning and scanning in 60 FPS and all of that, that sharpness on the left that you see behind me is really, I think, going to make the game really look nice and feel very crisp and feel very, very good. And again, it's free. So, you can't really complain. So here we're looking at the PS5 in performance mode, comparing it to the PS4 Pro. So a little bit of a different setup here. On my side, you're going to be looking at the older version, and over there on the other side, you're going to be looking at the performance mode on the PS5. I want to actually watch this in movement here. I want to see this in motion because I want to see performance mode with respect to frame rate. Yeah, that looks really, really smooth. So that's PS4 Pro. Look at the difference. Look how smooth it is with his gallop. That is that's a nice uptick. That's a really nice uptick. Look at the gallop change on frame rate. His hair, moving of the horse, the dismount. Yeah. That's very, very nice. Here's some of the things that you could do, I guess, in the previous mode. Oh, this is the Xbox Series X ray tracing mode. Wait. Did I have that wrong during the Xbox comparisons? Yeah, behind me is the X, and over there on the right is the one with the newer one. He did that right. I was incorrect. The PS5's on the right. Okay. So here's all the settings you can change on the Series X. Frame rate mode, performance, motion blur, and then camera lens effects it looks like you can turn on. So this is the ray tracing mode on the Series X. Let's get some live footage here. And then that's the 1X. What, you really going to want to look at the water? See the water differences? Look at look here where I'm circling, and then compare it over here. All right, I'm going to put it back in motion. Ready? It's just a lot more subtle. It's a lot more subtle. The water looks more just sort of, you know, I don't want to say realistic. That's so generic. But it doesn't look like on the left, this almost looks like it's very thick. It's almost like it's over animated. It's not bad, by the way. This is beautiful. I can't believe they achieved this back when they did. But over here, right? Over here, you're just getting a much better look. Now, the other thing to look at in this comparison, yeah, the water's more watery. I want you to look at the plants, all right? Over here, each plant looks like it's been sharply sort of dropped and placed, okay? And then over here, everything just sort of blends together. It doesn't look so video gamey. Does that make sense? It's like I can see like the individual plants that have been dropped in these sections. They're very sharp. They're very defined. That's not bad, by the way. But when you look over here, it just looks more organic. You can see different textures. You can see different, blades and leaves and different things. But it just sort of blends together more. It doesn't look so sharp. Like I can see like individual blades of grass over here to the point that like that looks fantastic for the time. But over here, it just looks like it's blending more naturally. It looks more smooth. It's like it's easier on the eyes. It's not so high contrast, if that makes sense. The players who have played it already won't notice much difference. If you're going from old gen to new gen, you'll notice. The frame rate especially. Okay, so this is PC Max Next Gen. Looks like you can do some different things. Hang on. So here, it looks like you can do some different things with camera distance and combat distance. It says here that another option is new camera that will be placed closer to Geralt. I wonder if that'll help with combat. I remember there were complaints. There were complaints about the combat back in the day. Now here you're getting PC Max Old Gen, PC Max Next Gen. It's extremely hard to see differences here because I just think they achieved something very, very good. I think with this game, and I think it looked and it ran very, very well on PC. So this doesn't surprise me that this is actually really hard to see a difference here. This is a little bit more challenging to pinpoint the differences. I do think you can maybe look at the clouds a little bit and see, Geralt looks almost identical, if you want my honest opinion. They are showing the closer camera work. So the closer camera work is nice because that actually looks like more like the camera placement of God of War. I bought this game years ago, never played it. Also, this is the only game Andrew talks about when I bring up my gaming addiction. Yes. He's a fan of The Witcher. Yes. He's a fan of CD Projekt Red because I know he took an interest in my Cyberpunk coverage. But yeah, that closer camera is a little bit more of a God of War, positioning. The shading on the trees. Let's watch it here. It just looks so good on the left. It doesn't look that much better on the right. It really doesn't. Am I dumb, or does the left one look better? I feel like my eyes are playing tricks on me. I feel like the left one looks better. You can see a big difference. The right looks way better. Right has longer grass. Yeah, I mean, they need to mow the grass. That's the only thing I really see. I'm with you. I didn't find that myself. Your eyes are lying. Look at the roofs. His hair looks better on the left, doesn't it? I don't know, man. I feel like my eyes are playing tricks on me, bro. Ray tracing will not be applied to reflections. However, there will be substantial improvement in screen space reflections. Okay. Okay, this is noticeable. This is very, very noticeable. Okay, so the bottom, the reflections in the water are far more realistic and looking very, very good. And up top, they're just hiding everything with like extra ripples. That water is really, really ripply in the top one. And then in the bottom one, it just looks like a nice reflection in the water. Yeah, that's very noticeable. But then when you look at the buildings and you look at the sky, it's a little bit harder to see the differences. You see? The water looks more watery. Yeah, that's very watery water. That's very watery water. By the way, if you guys are enjoying this breakdown and this coverage, usually I am in this scene. I'm a safe for work broadcaster. If you're enjoying the content, hit subscribe so you can talk and chat. We'd love to hear from you. And thank you so much for starting things off on this member goal. We're already at 5 out of the 25. Thank you to, it was Matthew Johnson who did that, who gifted 5 members. And if we hit 25, I'll gift 5 as well. Let's take a look at some of these other comparisons. Oh, here we go. Lighter. See, it's hard because it could be a time of day difference, but now the right does look a little bit better. Like the lighting looks a little bit better, but it's hard to know. Winds are howling. That's right. Roach. Come on, Roach. We got places to go. We gotta find this lubberkin. I don't know. This looks... Okay. So the grass is doing that non-blended thing. Very sharp, but the water and stuff looks fine. It's all... They softened it up. It looks muddy. No pun intended. No pun intended. No pun intended. It looks muddy. This is a hard comparison because there's a different time of day happening. Like the sky looks different. The sky on the top's like blue and the sky on the bottom's like fog-like overcast. His hair looks stiffer. Yeah, the weather and time of day is making this a bad comparison. That looks so good for old gen. Let's see the comparison. Well, clearly this game's better. The bush sprouted a wing. I mean, come on, bro. Come on. Clearly it's better. Like, when they updated The Witcher, I wasn't expecting this. They really went beyond the scope of my expectations. They spared no expense. Like, bushes in the old gen, nothing. Nothing but petals and flowers. In this, you got wings. We got dragon wings sprouting from the bush. This is clearly better, chat. Just a giant... The side by side. I sighed. It's too good. It's too good, bro. That is so funny. That giant wing, bro. Oh. Oh my gosh, that is funny, man. That is really good. Why? Why did you do this? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Oh, look at all the extra snazzy stuff they're putting in. Look at that. It's so smooth. Tell me that frames per second doesn't matter. Look at the right. Look how smooth it is compared to the left. That pan right there. Oh, that's crispy. That's so crispy on the Xbox comparatively. What the frick? What is that? Oh. Oh. Why are they doing a slow-mo? Oh, look at the water. So this is a freeze frame. So this actually looks very good. You can clearly see the difference here. You can see the the details and the lighting and the water. This is not a sharp difference, but it certainly is a difference. It certainly is a difference. And here, this is yeah. See, this is when you're gonna start to notice the differences: the reflections, the lighting, the metal, his skin texture. You can clearly see a pretty marked difference between these two. So I feel like on PC, they achieved such greatness on the old gen version that you've almost got to look for the improvements. Does that make sense? You got to look for them because they're not going to show up everywhere. And I think that's fine. I think that's totally fair. If anything, that's a testament to just the great job they did with this game when it came out. They poured a lot of great things into it. So I think this is one of the shots to show people to be like, hey, you're going to find stuff in the game that does look quite a bit better. Going to take some time. Here you can see it. Hang on. Oh my gosh, they're having a sale on hair clips. So again, it's going to come down to lighting and the reflections and a lot of the comparisons. Specifically on PC. I think consoles, there's a lot more noticeable uptick. A lot more noticeable uptick. You might have forgot they downgraded the original. Here, again, it's difficult because there's not a lot of reflection. There's not a lot of shine. If there's not something shiny, in the room, it's going to be harder to see it. I win. Yeah, it's super subtle. It's really, really subtle. That's a great one. That's a great comparison. It's super subtle on PC. It's there. It certainly is there, but it's a lot harder to notice. They did the work. They did the work. Go see that info on that. What's the Lego channel name? You can use the Lego command if you want to support our Lego channel that we launched recently. If you like watching people build Legos and stuff. A $5 tip from DJ Steph. Look at the E3 stuff in the game back then. It looked way better. Oh, well, of course. I mean, I don't need to go look at that to know that they probably showed, really, really strong vertical slices of the game that ended up not being like what the game launched as. That's that's par for the course in gaming world, is it not? Yeah, here you're again. You're getting some of that payoff in the lighting and the ground and the reflections and the shininess. It's subtle, but it's there. Very subtle. But my gosh, that game is gorgeous for how old it is on the left. The POV difference is also playing a role. Yeah, I love this up-close camera thing. It makes it feel like God of War. I'm like right up on Geralt's shoulder. Like I can see all of his stuff and his hair, and he probably smells like Henry Cavill, and I want to, ask him if he wants to snuggle. But I mean, I actually think that zoomed in camera, is nice. I like that. Now, I don't know if that's going to help with combat or hinder it. I remember the combat being something... I remember the combat being a little tough, right? Being like, you have to kind of like adapt to it. It's different. Didn't you dislike being up close in God of War, though? Yeah, they zoomed it out a little bit in Ragnarok, didn't they? Didn't they zoom the camera out a little bit? I feel like they zoomed the camera out a little bit in Ragnarok. Yeah, all this PC comparison's nice, but let's get a good comparison here of Xbox to Xbox. Look at that. That's so nice on the right. So smooth. Yep. Lighting. Clouds look better. I remember this fight. I remember this fight being a big pain in the booty. Don't you track him down and fight him later? You want to see more combat? Oh, okay. So they're going to show us what it looks like when you fiddle with the FOV. Okay. So... Oh, this is photo mode. I don't care about that. That's great for making thumbnails. Okay. I can't imagine seeing this back in the day. Can you imagine if we sent this footage back in time? People be like, what the frick? Send this back 20 years, you know? These are the games you're gonna play. Here we go. So this is Series X, just open world, on the horse, performance mode, 60 frames per second. We got a nice side-by-side comparison. I'm gonna skip ahead and see if we can't find some combat. Yo, welcome back, M-Man June. This coming to Game Pass? Yeah, this update's free on Game Pass. It's free if you own the game. I'm kidding. I don't know. I don't think Witcher's on Game Pass, is it? Here we go. Found some combat. Okay, so he hops off. His camera is zoomed in a little bit more. Showing off some of it. Wait, is that it? Oh, no. I've got more videos. Hang on. Maybe somebody else has some combat. We got a 5-minute one from GameSpot. So we got a 5-minute video from GameSpot. Let's see if they have any combat. Okay, I feel like, is this the same? This is all the same stuff, just with GameSpot's overlay. Yeah, right there. You can really see it in his face. Watch. When they do a zoom in on Geralt. Not this guy. But... Wait, I don't think I went back far enough. Yeah, right here. Right there, you can kind of see it. The original. It's a PS4 version running on the PS5, and then the PS5 ray tracing mode's on the right. I love how even in the comparison, he's fighting and the dumb horse comes trotting right through the middle of the fight. What is my wife sending me a picture of? Is it one of the... I don't see it. Is it... I don't see it. Like, what is she trying to show me? She's trying to show me the Christmas lights. Original got that Instagram filter on. Let's see if there's got to be some combat in here. Hang on. No, I don't think there's any combat. No. This is not an actual next-gen version. It's a next-gen update. Yeah. It's a next-gen update. So, I've got some discussion questions. Typically, we do discussions. If you want to join the discussion, make sure you're subscribed. I'm curious, just is this enough to make you jump back in? Oh, wait, there is some combat right here. He punches some guys. Here we go. What is my wife doing? Oh my gosh, I can't unlock my phone! Oh, one of the lights is crooked. I can't get out of the picture. What is happening with my phone? Okay. Okay. You're definitely jumping back in. I'll jump back in. I'm going to play either way. For me, my biggest challenge with The Witcher 3 is it's like it's super, super long. Do you know what I'm saying? And I always feel that twinge of like, I start a game like this, and then I like deep down, I know I'm not going to be able to finish it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the people are being told to hide the gameplay feels a bit weird. Well, yeah, none of the stuff I read, you know what's funny? None of the stuff I read in any of the hands-on previews, none of them talked about the combat. The only thing they mentioned in combat briefly was they said with the quality of life, they said that they revised the camera and they have faster controls for using the signs, which are the magic spells. And they said it looks and plays better than ever before. But I didn't see like a big focus on combat. If the combat is weird, you can always go back to the old perspective. Yeah, you can always fix the camera if you don't like the way that it feels zoomed in. That is true. If you guys are just tuning in, we're talking about The Witcher 3 next-gen upgrade hands-on previews that have rolled out. We read through a quick summary of Eurogamer at the beginning of the stream, and then we watched some videos. Remember, guys, if you're enjoying the content, to do all the things, spam the emotes, click the buttons, etc. Got to be something there. Either it's so good and perfect, why would they be hiding it? I don't know if they're hiding it or if it just isn't the focal point of the next-gen upgrade. The next-gen upgrade is not focusing on combat. It's focusing on performance, lighting, graphics. Does that make sense? I don't necessarily know if your next-gen update would be focusing on, like, oh yeah, the combat's way better. It's probably going to largely be the same combat. Zooming the camera in or out might help or hinder that, but I don't think it's going to be a largely changed experience, other than the fact that they gave you better controls. As they've said, it's a faster controls for using the magic spells. Like, that might help combat. But as far as like moment-to-moment combat fluidity and swinging and dodging and rotating the camera, I didn't see any like strong mentions of that. I don't know if that was the focal point of the update anyway. I feel like the focal point of the update was, let's update, let's up the textures, let's update the resolution, let's update the frame rate, let's make it look and run better. But you'd have to, I think if you wanted to have results in the gameplay, if you wanted to have results in the combat, then you'd have to rebuild things, That's one of my questions about this. Like, the whole thing to me is confusing. Like, I'm not trying to talk bad about it, right? I think this is cool that they did this, but I'm confused by it. Because CD Projekt Red is moving on from the Red engine. All of the new Witcher games are going to be in Unreal, so this doesn't benefit the other Witcher games in almost any respect. Do you get where I'm coming from? It's like I don't really understand. Unless I could be wrong, unless the work they're doing on this benefits the other Witcher titles being built in Unreal in some way. Maybe just experimenting with ray tracing, maybe experimenting with 4K textures and higher resolutions and different camera angles. I don't know. This is a bizarre one for me. They're selling The Witcher 3 right now for like $8. So even people that are convinced to buy this, I don't think that those pennies are going to add up all that quickly. Maybe ray tracing isn't really that much work, and all this $70 remakes are just ripoffs. Well, this is not a remake, though. So, if you're trying to draw comparisons to The Last of Us Part 1 or Dead Space, this is just an upgrade. They just went in and tweaked things so that it runs and looks prettier, which is why you shouldn't expect the Witcher 3 Next Gen update to do anything to combat. They've not rebuilt or touched the systems. It's a performance update. Hey, you can turn on performance mode. Hey, you can turn on the ray tracing mode. This is a new coat of paint. This is not a new engine for the car. You need to overlay with definitions of remake, remaster, and update. You're back. Had to mute the stream. Yeah, I wouldn't compare this to the Dead Space remake or The Last of Us Part 1 remake. I wouldn't do that because those are games that have rebuilt stuff and are striving to deliver something more. Now, we can be critical of what we've seen in the Dead Space remake, as I have been, and I obviously was very, hesitant on The Last of Us because of the price point, but I ended up playing in it and I felt like it was a true next-gen experience, so it was worthy of the price point as well as the label remake. This is not aiming to be that. This is just a Witcher 3 next-gen upgrade. It's a free upgrade. You just download it, and there it is. They're not charging any money for it. And I certainly don't think in the side-by-side comparisons that we just looked at for the last 30 minutes, I don't think we saw anything that was even close to the differences between The Last of Us 1 and 2. The Last of Us 1 and The Last of Us Remake. Also, the differences between Dead Space, as harsh as I've been about the Dead Space remake, it looks miles different than the first one. And The Witcher looks a little prettier. I mean, you want to talk about like spectrum of impact. I mean, I think that obviously the Witcher update is the lowest impact we've seen. And when you look at the Dead Space remake, it's a huge difference. You look at the original Last of Us 1 to the remake. It's very, very marked difference at every level. The character models, the cutscenes, the world, the lighting, the combat, the enemies, the blood. It's more like a remaster. It's like a real quick pass remaster. Yeah. It's more like a quick pass remaster. It's like, oh, hey, your game's going to look a little bit nicer now. Path of Titans. Oh, that's not a game I've ever played. Continue the content. Watch videos. Submit your attendance. Complete this. Additionally, in front of written testimony congregation. Okay, I'll have to do all that. Okay. They also fixed a couple of bugged quests and added a lot of mods from the community, so it looks like something done for the love of the game and the community. We're getting some new content based on the TV. Yeah, that is true. So they're doing quality of life updates as well as stuff from the Witcher TV series is being added to the game. That is correct. It's more like the next-gen updates we got for Ghost of Tsushima and God of War. Yeah, the 4K checkerboard thing they did for God of War 2018 and the free update for Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah. Yeah, totally free, makes everything look and run better. I had other discussion questions as well. I think this will be a quicker breakdown style of what we typically do here. Does the exclusive, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Does the exclusion of the Series S at the press session, does that concern you at all? The Series S wasn't present. They didn't give you like, here's what it does on Series S, here's Series X, and here's PS5. The Series S just wasn't there. Does that concern you at all? With respect to, what's this gonna look like? You say, I don't care. You say, nope. As long as they're not claiming this is a remaster or a remake, can't really criticize something that is nothing but free improvements. Yeah, with it being categorized as a free update, I tend to agree with you. Just a free update. There's no reason to think that, there's no reason to think that this is a bad or they didn't do enough. I don't have one, not my problem. Nope, not worried. It'll work fine on the S. I look forward to seeing the Polish devs actually smiling. I look for how can criticize something that is free? I think they said the PC version was really going to be the highest quality possible. Well, and we saw evidence of that in the video breakdowns that we just looked at. We saw evidence of that. They showed the PC version for a while, and I thought it looked very, very clean. The S can surely run the game on 60 FPS on lower settings. I don't have confidence in that. No, Vigil. I don't have confidence in that. I bet you the ray tracing mode is inconsistent, but they'll probably have to do dynamic. They'll have to do some kind of a dynamic resolution thing if they want to get 60 FPS, like a dynamic 1080. I just think these are the kind of games that pose a problem because they're big, that the areas are just bigger. Big open world, big long draw distances and sight lines. That's murder on your frame rate if your system has any kind of a bottleneck. Yo, what's good, Dan23? I've run the game on a PC with lower specs than the S on 60, so the S should run it. If they were willing to take it that low, how low do you have to take it to get 60 FPS on that lower spec system? Like, how far do you have to go, Vigil? Imagine playing Witcher 3 on a 4090. That must be awesome. I honestly care about getting 60 FPS in this game more than I care about the graphical improvement. I would agree with that. If I was going to play this thing at length, like if I had time to play it, I would care way more about the 60 FPS. How low can you go? I heard it as I said it. I couldn't take it back. You know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate. I'm curious, how does the game run now on PS5? The game on the PS5 right now, you're not playing a PS5 version. You're just playing the PS4 version. So there's no graphical uptick at all. Now, I believe that Xbox Series X did the FPS boost, I think. So you could bump the FPS on the Xbox Series X, but Eurogamer said it was unstable. It didn't sound like it did a great job. They said that the Witcher 3 Next Gen upgrade ran great on both the Series X and the PS5. They said it just looked and ran great. No issues as far as they said. This is a lengthy game. 60 FPS is more likely to make your time in it more enjoyable than slight graphical improvements. That is definitely the case for me. Series X has the FPS boost, I think. Yeah, I think that's how they were doing it. Yeah. PC will have more crowd density and smoke in the city. Yeah, PC also gets where is it here? PC will also get a preset called Ultra Plus, which allows for even longer draw distances and denser grass, which would make The Witcher 3 a candidate for our GPU test suite even in 2023. So yeah, Eurogamer's saying PC's going to get a handful of things extra to really take things up a notch. One thing I love about the PS4 versions on games on PS5, since most PS4 games are 30 FPS and the PS5 is like 120, most 30 FPS games stick to 30. Like Arkham Knight, I could do max grapnel boost with no drops. Yeah, see, but a stable 30 just doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? I want to see this running on the best PC rigs out there. I mean, I would imagine that the footage that we looked at today with the side-by-sides and stuff, they were showing that. I would think you would be showcasing that on pretty strong PC rigs, I would think. If you guys are just tuning in, the latest Witcher 3 next-gen upgrade hands-on previews have said nothing but praise, and it does land next week on December the 14th for free. And there are quality of life updates that everybody gets, even on the old gen systems. And then there's going to be some tie-in to the Witcher TV series as well. Does Dying Light Definitive Edition run at 60 on the PS5? I don't know the answer to that. I didn't play that. My laptop ran the game on 60 FPS with a mixture of medium and low settings, with specs a little lower than the S. Okay. So if it comes out and it runs immaculately on the PS5 and it runs immaculately on the Series X, if it struggles and doesn't run well on the Series S, what are you going to say? Is it the dev's fault? Because you're making a case that this thing should have no problem because your laptop's weaker is what you're saying. I've asked about this a few weeks ago, but just today seeing the $70 price increase on Spotify, does that sound right? I'm not sure what you mean, Greg. What are you said I've asked about this a few weeks ago, but just today seeing $70 price increase on Spotify? I mean, I covered the $70 price increase yesterday on YouTube, so it's now hitting Spotify. Not to change the subject, just wondering. I'm not seeing a question. You didn't say anything. Does that sound right? Like the upload time. I mean, we were behind by like a week or two or something because of the vacay. Everything should be up to date. So everything that I talked about today should hit Spotify tomorrow. It should. It should. So we appreciate everybody who does listen on Spotify or the other places. If you happen to be listening to the audio version of this, you can't really support monetarily on Spotify and the audio versions. It's great that you're listening, but like we don't run any ads on Spotify or anything. We're not monetized on those platforms. So if you ever want to support directly, come to the YouTube channel, maybe do a membership or gift some members or something of that nature. Order some coffee, go to reforgeroast.com, all those things. Would love to see the audio, audience start to get involved in some way. If this runs well in the Series S, what will people say about up-and-coming games? Well, I was looking at it from a completely different perspective, Silent Warrior. If it has trouble running on the S, that'll be a pretty big indictment of the S, because this is an old game. If it runs well on the S, it doesn't prove much, because, as I just said, this is a pretty old game. So, do you understand what I'm saying? Again, I'm not bashing the S, but the S wasn't present. So a week before this thing drops, they're out there pressing the flesh. They're out there talking about this thing, and they don't have an S. They don't have a demo of it on the S available. That could either be a very simple explanation, or it could be a more worrying one. Problem with the Series S is that it lacks the memory to do both 60 FPS and 1440 graphics. Normally, you would have to turn down one or the other with limited RAM spec. What is the point of the Series S to sell Game Pass? My laptop did have better RAM than the S, so that's a concern, I guess. That's the bottleneck of the S. Doesn't the S run Warzone at 100 FPS? Quite a bit of stuff going on in that game. I've not seen the breakdown of how it achieves that. Is that dynamic 1080 with a bunch of stuff turned off? Like, I don't know how they achieve that, and I don't know if that's stable. I don't even know if that claim is true. I have an Xbox S and a low rig, which would be preferable for this in your opinion. I don't know the stats on your rig. It's 30 FPS on the S according to some previews. Are you Corey, what are you talking about? What game? What is running at 30 FPS on the S according to some previews? Information on how upcoming games will run on the S always seem to come out last and extremely close to the game's release. It's actually an advantage to play Warzone on the S as they dial down the foliage. That's a strategy. Bro, you can see way more. 1080 with an i7, don't judge. I'm not going to judge, man. Oh, Corey, you're saying The Witcher 3? Hang on. Let's see if we can find anything. The Witcher 3 next-gen update Xbox Series S performance. According to this on the Xbox website, and this was last month, the Xbox Series S players can select between dedicated 30 FPS and 60 FPS modes, with the former presenting the game with better textures at higher resolutions, and the latter presenting a 60 FPS experience. In addition, the Series X benefits from Super Resolution, Fidelity FX Super Resolution FSR, a powerful upscaling technology that boosts frame rate and uses a spatial upscaling algorithm to maintain high visual quality. Yeah, even the Microsoft blog on it doesn't really give details. First, technical upgrades. The Xbox Series X players can select from performance and quality modes. Performance prioritizes frame rate at 60, while quality prioritizes visual fidelity. In quality mode, ray tracing comes into play with ray trace global illumination and ambient occlusion, bringing more realistic overall lighting and surface lighting effects. Series S players can select between dedicated 30 FPS and 60 FPS modes, with the former presenting the game with better textures and higher resolutions, and the latter presenting a smooth 60 FPS experience. Are you hearing this? Like, listen. Hang on. Let me pull this up, and I just want to show you this to you guys. They're completely separate modes for the Series S. They're completely separate modes. It's right here above the picture. Like, I'm not reading into this, okay? I'm not reading into this, but again, this is just an upgrade to a really old game, and look at the clear dividing line between the Series X and the Series S, okay? So this is all about the Series X, what I've highlighted. The Xbox Series X players can select from performance and quality modes. Performance prioritizes frame rate at 60 FPS, while quality prioritizes visual fidelity at 30 FPS. In quality mode, ray tracing comes into play with ray trace global illumination and ambient occlusion, bringing more realistic overall lighting and surface lighting effects. So the Series X gets performance and quality modes. The Series S does not. That's not what they're calling it. Xbox Series S players can select between dedicated 30 FPS and 60 FPS modes. These are different. They're entirely different. with the former presenting the game with better textures and at higher resolutions. We don't know what that means. And the latter presenting a smooth 60 FPS experience. In addition, the Xbox Series X benefits from the Fidelity FX Super Resolution, FSR, a powerful upscaling technology which boosts frame rate and uses a spatial upscaling algorithm to maintain high visual quality. So the Series S does not have a performance mode and a quality mode. It has dedicated modes that are defined by the frames per second. Dedicated 30 or dedicated 60. Solemn says, based on revenue percentage from Game Pass you already went over recently and the market saturation of the Series S, can we really say it was made to be a Game Pass box? I don't know. Like, I really want you to think about this for a second. 60 quality, 30 quality, 60 performance. They're not saying that, Mo. No, that's not what they're saying. You're not seeing this. Right up here, they say, Series X players can select from performance and quality. Series S players can select between dedicated 30 FPS and 60 FPS modes. They're not the same. You're not getting quality and performance. No, they use that terminology up here for the Xbox Series X. For the S, they are not using that terminology. I understand what you're saying, but it's basically the same thing, just not worded. No, it's not basically the same thing. No. But with the next part of the statement, you can decipher it to be 30 quality and 60 performance. No, it's not. Performance prioritizes frame rate at 60 FPS, right? While quality prioritizes visual fidelity at 30. Down here, they're saying that the 30 presents the game with better textures and higher resolutions. That's not what they're saying up here. And then here, and the latter presenting a smooth 60 FPS experience. These are not the same things. They are not. If that's what they meant, they could have easily just said it. The omission is deafening. They're not, they're calling them, they're literally calling them different things. What they're saying, you get performance and quality modes. And then in this one, you're getting a 30 FPS and a 60 FPS mode. They're calling them different things. If it's the same thing, why would they write them separately? That's what's right. I told you. I said, I don't know, man. A week before this comes out, and you go to show the press the demos, why don't you have the Series S there? Why wouldn't you? And then this is the official this is an official blog. This is Xbox's website. And they're clearly showing you they're different. They're completely different. The Series S, for whatever reason, why wouldn't you have that at your press event to be like, yeah, here are the way the modes break down on the Series S? Because it's different. Like, why wouldn't you let the press see this? Who cares about the Series S? You should. It's one of the it's the highest saturation console for Xbox right now. What does performance mode do? It lowers res and textures to get higher FPS. But it doesn't say that. It doesn't say how they do it in this game. I mean, we know that's generally how it does it. But the other thing you have to see here, here's why they're creating a dividing line. Here's why they would not endorse you saying quality mode. Do you want to know why? Another very important sentence. In quality mode, ray tracing comes into play with ray trace global illumination and ambient occlusion, bringing more realistic overall lighting and surface lighting effects. Therefore, the Series S does not have quality mode. It doesn't. It has a 30 FPS mode that gives you better textures and higher resolution. It's a completely different category in Microsoft's mind. It's not the same. So even the 60 FPS mode, I mean, it just says it's presenting a smooth 60 FPS experience. Up here, it just says it prioritizes frame rate at 60. Okay, those are virtually synonymous with each other. I'll grant you that. I'll grant you that one. You can't say the Series S has quality mode. They specifically outline what quality mode gives you. And that's not on the S. This again, man, this just reinforces something I've been trying to say over and over and over again. This is a 7-year-old game that's getting a next-gen upgrade, and the Series S is getting sold way short on the upgrade. It's a 7-year-old game, bro. What do you think games are going to do in 5 or 6 years? This reinforces everything I've been saying. The S could not run the Xbox One X version of the game. Like, I'm not trying to be a hater, but every time the Series S is in the discussion, red flags are going off for me. That's just red flags. It's like, what? It's a 7-year-old game. They ported this game to the Switch. They ported The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt to the Switch, and the Series S can't benefit from the next-gen upgrade? Like, what are you going to get? We don't know. We have no details. It doesn't say. The official Xbox page doesn't even really say or give you an accurate picture of the experience you're going to have on the S. I got all kind of details here for the X, with ray tracing, ambient occlusion, and Fidelity FX super resolution, and upscaling technology, and global illumination. I don't have any details on what it's going to give me on the S. I don't even know. I have no idea. It's a next-gen update, not a 7-year-old game. Right, but I just... The reason I was stating it the way that I was stating it, Zubair, is that it's a next-gen update to a 7-year-old game. One of the things that commonly comes up in the discussion about the Series S is people tell me it runs more games at 120 than any other console because of FPS boost going into older games and boosting things up. If that narrative is to be believed, that this thing's totally fine, this thing's strong, this thing's great, this thing's awesome, look at how many old games it runs at higher graphics, this should be no problem. It should be no problem. 7-year-old game, get the next-gen update. Yeah, the Series S can do all that stuff. So the version the S is getting is an upgrade to the OG Xbox One game. The Xbox Series X is getting an upgrade of the Xbox One X version. Is there a Series S version of The Witcher now? What Paul is saying in the Discord, I think, is pretty important. The Series S is getting an upgrade to the OG Xbox version of the game, and the Series X is getting an upgrade to the Xbox One X version. So they're actually going to be, it's based on that and what I just read here on the official Xbox website, they're going to be very different, that makes sense as to why there wasn't a Series S version playable at the press event. The Witcher 3 OG on Ultra with RTX will make modern PC games chug. It's very graphically intensive. Okay. Track with me here. We're talking about a game, Witcher 3, that very much so inspired a lot of the games we're looking forward to playing. Big open world RPG games like, let's just say, Starfield. I don't know, man. of a giant foreboding sense. I have this foreboding feeling down in my plums about Starfield on the Series S. So you messaged on Twitter about tomorrow? What's tomorrow? Oh, I'm on the wrong account. Which account? Oh, you must have done it to the main. I've got 2 Twitters now. Oh, yeah. I don't do almost any collaborative stuff right now. What's damning is that it isn't just dialing graphics up and down. The S version is based on an older build of the game. Yeah, like if what Paul's saying is accurate, I don't know if I've seen that anywhere documented. Where did you get that information, Paul? That the version on the S is going to be a different base work. Where'd you get that? The S never ran the Xbox One X version. What? Why? Did the Xbox One X version have ray tracing? Or something? The Series X does. Why can the Series S not run the Xbox One X version of The Witcher 3? RAM? So that's crazy to me. So, okay, Eugene, this is a doozy. The Xbox One X version of The Witcher 3 cannot run on the Series S. So the newer console can't run the version of the game from the older console because of RAM. The One X ran a 4K version, that's why. The Series S can't run any Xbox One X games. What do you mean it can't run any Xbox One X games? Do you mean games specifically made to tap into the stronger power of the One X or something? No, it can't. It runs Xbox One S games. Oh, the One X versions of games. Okay, got it. Okay. So, the S is not a 4K machine. Yeah. This is blowing my mind. This is absolutely blowing my mind. The Witcher 3, the version that you can play right now on an old console called the Xbox One X. This is an old console. Not the Series X. The One X. The One X can run a version of The Witcher that the Series S can't run because of a lack of RAM. And the version of the Series S, the Witcher 3 next-gen upgrade coming to the Series S, we have no details on. And the vagueness of this Xbox article right here. The S version is based off the Switch version. I just checked. Mother of God. Paul says, this ticked me off so much when I got the S and found out. So when you play The Witcher 3 next-gen upgrade on the Xbox Series S, you are playing the Nintendo Switch version upticked. Wow. Just wow. Zubair says, I never realized that's moronic. Was that money they saved on 4 gig of RAM worth all this? Like, Eugene, what sent us down this rabbit trail was I said it was a little alarming that the Series S was not present at the press event, because anybody that's going to download this upgrade, hey, what kind of performance can I look forward to on the Series S? So I Googled it, and I found this really, really nice article right here on the official Xbox website. And I found a paragraph that I think is very telling. In this paragraph, you have this first section, right? You have this first section that says, first technical upgrades, okay? And there's a clear dividing line here. They talk about Xbox Series X players, and then they talk about Xbox Series S players. And I pointed out that the Xbox Series X is getting performance mode, right here, performance and quality mode. But then when you come down here, the Series S players are getting dedicated 30 FPS and 60 FPS modes. So they're not calling it performance and quality modes. They're calling it just, you just get a 30 FPS and 60 FPS mode. And it's super generic. You don't have any details. Okay, the former, the 30 FPS mode, presents the game with better textures and higher resolutions. 60 FPS mode, the latter, presents a smooth 60 FPS experience. So there's no details here. So if I was attempting right now to put together a presentation for you about what you're going to experience on the Series S when you play the Witcher 3 Next Gen upgrade, I have virtually no information to give you. I have nothing to tell you. There'll be a 30 FPS and a 60 FPS mode. That's all I've got. I got nothing else. Like, Stop thinking like a fan for a second. Just think about somebody who right now owns an Xbox Series S. If you came to me and said, hey, Lono, you run this channel, Reforge Gaming, and you covered all this stuff. What am I going to get in the Witcher 3 Next Gen upgrade on my Xbox Series S? What am I going to get? And I would say, I don't know. There's a 30 FPS mode and a 60 FPS mode. I don't have any other details outside of that. I got entire videos and breakdowns from Eurogamer, IGN, and GameSpot about what you get on PC, what you get on PS5, what you get on the Xbox Series X, but Series S? Frick, I don't know, bro. I don't know what you're going to get. They haven't said. I know, Caleb. That's our lead tomorrow. I'm very excited. Very excited about Diablo 4. A lot of possibilities for us with that game. Because if you got an S, you don't care about all that. You keep saying that. You keep saying that. To be clear, my issue isn't with the S. It's a machine that does a job and does it well, but it doesn't do the job it was sold us to do. That's my beef. That's exactly right. It's disingenuous to say that S users don't care, hand-waving at its finest. Yeah. Every single story that we run, every single development that we discover, it's just like, oh my gosh, the Series S, what the frick? What is gonna happen to Starfield, bro? Doesn't do what it says? If they said, here's the best 1080p console ever, the S would be fantastic. Yeah, it wasn't sold as a 1080 machine that's going to struggle to hit 60. You know what I'm saying? That's not how it was sold. So many people bought the S because they thought it was going to be a 1440-60 machine. Yeah. It's like people can't face the facts. You can't face the facts. The Witcher 3 Next Gen upgrade is around the corner, and the Xbox Series S is going to get the Nintendo Switch version upticked to 30 and 60 FPS modes, and we have no details because none were given to the press. And you think everything's fine and dandy, and Starfield will be just fine. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how you can stare at that straight face and act like people, they don't care. People bought an Xbox Series S, and you think that it's they're just all totally fine with, yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, I'll play a Nintendo Switch version of The Witcher 3 that's been upgraded. That's not even a next-gen upgrade at that point. Everyone is absolutely projecting demographic consumer trends. The S fills a huge niche of extreme casual gamers who buy 1 to 2 games a year. Caleb, I am not going to sit here and deny that a large portion of the people who bought the Xbox Series S aren't really concerned about these sorts of things, but there's also tons of people that probably are concerned about these sorts of things, and they bought it because it was affordable and available, and they wanted to get a next-gen console. Is it confirmed to be the Switch version? Well, what Paul is saying is they had to build off of the Xbox One X version for the Series X, and the Series S cannot run the Xbox One X version. It's going to have to run off of a version that's basically more stripped down. So I don't know if we have concrete information that it's going to be using the Nintendo Switch version, but Paul's just like, what else are we supposed to conclude? I think that's what he was saying, was the Series S right now cannot run The Witcher 3, the version of it from the Xbox One X. That's the old gen console. So the old gen Xbox One X has a version of The Witcher 3 that the Series S cannot run. Oh, okay, it's probably the Xbox One version, not the Switch version. All next-gen games can be played on the S? For now. For now. I guarantee the S will get them. I can't guarantee that. So we're speculating. I've speculated for a very, very long time. I have speculated for a very, very long time that I'll do Game of the Year edition. It's not showing the right game category for us. I speculated for a very, very long time that at some point in the life of this generation, devs are going to start skipping the Series S. Speculated that for a while. I'm trying to get a good version of The Witcher 3 for us to be in categorically with like an actual picture. There's no picture on any of these that I can pick. That is freaking annoying. Witcher 3, Heart of Stone. Witcher 3, The Witcher. Yeah, there's not one to pick. There's not one to pick that actually shows the artwork. That's kind of weird. That's odd. I wanted to buy a Series S since I have a PS5, but I guess I'll get an Xbox One X instead. What's that? Oh, that's the Callisto on the Series S. Thankfully, given how many visual settings were pared back, Series S turns into a solid 30 FPS per second experience. It exhibits the same sort of hiccups observed with other versions of the game, of course, but it does not have any of the same problems we observed in the Series X. Basically, you're sacrificing a lot in terms of image quality and fidelity, but at least the frame rate hits 30 FPS target most of the time. I would have been curious to see a potential performance mode for the Series S, however, but given the low resolution target, I suspect it would be closer to 720p. Callisto is 1080 dynamic, 30 FPS on the Series S. Imagine playing a next-gen game that dips into the 720s and it can't even give you 60. Callisto doesn't run well on a 3080 right now. I didn't have any problems on PS5, and most of the performance reviews I read said it ran fine on the Series X. They said there were dips, but they said it ran fine. Dynamic 1080, 30 FPS. What in the frick, bro? Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying dynamic 1080 for 60. Dynamic 1080 for 30. Yeah, I mean, I know Callisto's cross-gen, Paul, but isn't that the point I'm making? How many people do you think are going to want their game running at, yeah, it dips into the 720s and struggles to hit 30 FPS. Now, you could say, well, the devs of Callisto are bad and made a bunch of bad decisions. Well, it ran fine on the PS5, and all the tech reviews I've seen says it runs fine on the Series X, and a lot of the performance issues on PC have been fixed already. So, okay, it's not a very well-optimized game. So, how many devs do you think it's going to take before somebody says, we're struggling to optimize our game as it is. I don't need it running at 720 and 30 FPS. That's going to look like garbage. It makes it even worse. Right, it makes it worse. It's like, it's a cross-gen game. If you're not beholden to Microsoft, do you really want your game running and dipping into the 720s and not even maintaining 30 FPS? All this puts the Starfield delay in perspective. Thank you. Thank you. I'm telling you, man, that console is a ticking time bomb. That console is a ticking time bomb. Because when people, mark my words, when people spend $70 for Starfield and Redfall and it runs poorly on the S, you're going to see people have a very, very different attitude than they have right now. It will turn. Everyone's on board with the S until devs stop supporting it. No way the Series S lasts a whole generation. Just wait till people buy Starfield for $70 and it runs at dynamic 1080 30 and struggles to hit both. Yeah, you just wait. You just wait until somebody slaps down $70 of their hard-earned money and says, well, I can't wait to play Starfield. This thing's been hyped to the moon and back, no pun intended. Oh, and it's going to run great, isn't it? No. By all accounts, it's not going to run well from everything we're seeing right now from games trying to run on that system. Yeah, imagine paying a next-gen price for 1080 30. Imagine. Isn't Callisto a $70 game? Isn't it? You sound like a big hater with no information. I don't have information. I just read from a reputable source about Callisto Protocol performance on the Series S. Have watched tech breakdowns and analysis of the Starfield gameplay. What information am I lacking? What information do you have? I have watched the gaming community respond to the $70 price point in a negative way. And if somebody's going to spend 70, they're going to expect to see quality. They're going to expect to see next gen. Just want to see Bethesda fail like a typical fanboy? You just want to do a quick dismissal summary comment like a typical YouTube drone. You want to keep trading blows with me or have a conversation? .1080p 60 FPS is unacceptable as well. Need at least 1440. But that's the thing. That's the thing, Jeremy. The goalposts keep moving. The goalposts keep moving. I was told, 1440 60, it'll do 1440 60, and it might sometimes dip below 1440 is what I was told. Then I was told, it's a 1080 box. It's a 1080 box. It's 1080 box, bro. 1080 60. That's all we need is 1080 60. What happens? Callisto comes out, $70, 1080 30, and it doesn't maintain either of those things. It's dynamic 1080, which means it dips down to as low as 720, and it doesn't even maintain 30 FPS. How far are you going to move the frickin' goalpost before you're playing Coleco games? You have no credible info on Starfield but make assumptions. Fanboy behavior. Typing in all caps. Truly a dizzying intellect. I look and analyze and speculate on what games are currently doing. A 7-year-old game, The Witcher 3, is getting a next-gen upgrade for the Series S. We have no details. It was excluded from the press event, and it's going to have to be an older version of the game as its base because the Xbox Series S cannot run the Xbox One X version, which is an older console, okay? So I take that information, and then I look at the size and the scope of Starfield. I look at the draw distances and the volumetric fog and the lighting effects and all the things that they're trying to do with a big, open space exploration game, and I say, wow, that's interesting. A 7-year-old open-world game called The Witcher 3 is getting a next-gen upgrade to the Series S, and it's having to use an older version of the game. It's not going to have graphical parity with the versions of it on any other system like the Series X or the PlayStation 5. And I also have information on Callisto Protocol, a $70 game, running poorly on the Series S. So, yeah, I have concerns about Starfield. So you criticize based off guessing? I haven't criticized anything at all. What have I criticized? Toxic gaming community in a nutshell. You are dripping in so much irony, I could get the wrinkles out of a shirt with how ironic you are. You're the one being dismissive and toxic. I'm talking about concerns I have for a game that I'm very interested in. I'm very excited for Starfield. I have numerous videos on this channel where I got in the ring and defended Starfield and talked about how I thought it looked great. People said it didn't look any better than Fallout. I defended it when that happened. I covered when they did the interview with Todd Howard and they looked at the dialogue tree options, and I said it actually had me very excited to play the game and experience it like Star Trek. But I've consistently voiced my opinion about how I'm really concerned about how this game's going to run on the Series S because of all of the things that I just outlined a moment ago. I'm pro game company, you're anti. You seem entitled about companies who work hard for you. Chat. Chat, he thinks I'm anti-game company. Somebody help him out, chat. I'm anti-game company, chat. I think it's the first time I've ever been accused of that. I'm usually accused of the opposite. I'm usually accused of being way too pro-company, way too pro-profit, way too pro-raising prices and having monetization. I think this is the first time I've ever been accused of being, oh, you're anti-company, I'm pro-company. You're not pro-company, you're anti, you're toxic. As I voice concerns about a game I'm vested in, and I'm very interested in its success, and I hope Starfield does incredible. Like, my concern about Starfield's performance on the Series S is because I'm very interested in the game, and I really like Todd Howard, and I I like the interviews that he's done, and I've covered them, rather extensively. Creating bad press of video games that haven't been released. Lamal Toxic. Man. You're just having a hard time, bro. You're having one of those days. You're having one of those days. They probably got your sandwich order wrong at the drive-thru. You probably stubbed your toe this morning, and now you're in here just taking L after L after L. You're just having one of those days, bro. You're just having one of those days. I'm not creating bad press about Starfield. This is a video, and this is a talk show about the Witcher 3 next-gen upgrade. And as we combed over the details, we noticed that, we don't have any concrete information about this game's performance on the Series S. And I have a running theory and prediction and growing concern about the Xbox Series S and its performance with next-gen titles. One of the biggest ones that I'm concerned about is a game I'm really looking forward to called Starfield. And you want to invert that into some sort of negative press about games that haven't been released yet. I'm afraid you're struggling. I bet you trash talked Elden Ring right before it released. What? I pumped up, played, and got super excited for Elden Ring. What do you... No, what? No. I ate it. Mm-hmm. I have an absolute lunatic in my chat right now. He's entertaining the audience, though, so we're just letting it ride. Boy. Oh. Well, go eat. That's fine. They can sit in their rooms, and I'll just get a bunch of work done on Saturday. I'll just record a bunch of videos. Hey, let's see where our coffee is. FedEx now has 2 hours to get all the way from Henderson, Colorado to Kentucky. I'm shocked, babe. I'm shocked. 7th or 8th time we've dealt with the freight delivery, and it's that's what I'm saying. Why? Why do they do it? It doesn't make any sense. Just call me and say, "Hey, buddy, we got a freight order for you. Okay, when's it gonna be here?" When's it gonna... Dave, he wants to know when it's gonna be there. It'll be there when it's there. And then just hang up on me. I'd rather get that level of honesty than be like, yeah, it's gonna be there on the 7th between 9 and 5. Click. Never shows up. Never shows up. Imagine if we were leaving tomorrow. How my blood would be boiling. Oh, man, another freight company lied to us. It's just shocking. Creature probably tried to call him. I think he got it from the email. Creature's too nice for some I've ever heard that. Until they tell you, they literally tell you, please don't call me. Immortal Turtle's going to give 5 memberships. Guys, anytime we hit that goal of 25, I have to give 5 to the community. And Immortal Turtle's going to get us halfway there. That's 10. Well, almost halfway there. 10 out of the 25. Devil's Reject. Pat Gaming. Spriggan. Matthew Cates. And Kabuto Black. You guys all got memberships. Welcome on in. Welcome back. I'm actually having a late afternoon mug of the Dark Roast for once. It's been quite a few days. Well, doesn't math good? That's close enough to half. It's close enough. What? 12 and a half members would be half. 10's close enough. If we hit 25, I have to gift 5 as a thank you to the community and to pay it forward. Cool Cat's kind of a grumpy cat. Yeah, I don't know. I was entertaining it. I was entertaining it because it was rather funny. And, as I put on such a great show for you guys, show me some appreciation, Hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Talk in chat. I just saw your Starfield video. You realize delays are the norm because of the sickie. You really want to overwhelm these programmers, bro? No. Actually, no. I'm quite against crunch. I'm very pro-delay, and I am very much against crunch. I've been covering video games for 8 years, and if you spent more than 8 seconds in my stream, you might not make so many stupid assumptions. I'm very much against crunch. I'm very pro treating people with dignity and respect. You actually end up with better quality content when you don't do crunch. Crunch has depreciating returns of value because people get overworked and give you bad productivity, which requires more bug testing and fixing and looping back. It's actually quite inefficient to do crunch. So, no, I'm very pro delay. In fact, I think Starfield lands late next year, and I'm okay with that because I want it to be good. I'm on record as saying I don't think we're going to get Starfield in the first half of 2023. I think it's going to get delayed again, and I think that's totally fine. I agree with Phil Spencer, who said he wants his teams to own their dates. Whatever I'm out, go do your toxic reviews on indie developers or whatever you do. Man, he really tried. He really tried. Are you one of the Bungie CMs? So much toxic positivity. Hey, before you go, Cool Cat, go apply to be a CM, a community manager for Bungie. You'll fit right in. They love toxic positivity over there. Go help them. Go help them write passive tweets about doing good and all that. Maybe it's too soon and maybe I'm out of line, but I miss that Cool Cat guy. I don't appreciate the Bungie talk either. Ask him how many victims are still sitting in silence in fear of retaliation at their company if you work there. I'm curious. If you get hired, just ask around. Just poke around. See if you can't figure it out. Oh, chat. Chat, are we going to do this or what? Because I've got something else. To show you. So I'm going to give you a little bit. Are you going to make me do another gift? I have to give 5 if you hit the goal at 25. All right, I'm going to give you a little bit before I show you something. I got something else. And while we wait on that, I do have a question for you. I got a dialogue discussion question for you. Okay? Why do you think they decided to do this since they're moving away from the Red engine? People have thrown out a couple of suggestions, and I'm not super convinced by any of them. Okay? This was a stream day defining moment. I freaking hate you. Okay. People suggested that it was goodwill. People suggested it was to promote the TV show. Some people suggested it would drive people to buy the game, but the game's on sale for like $8, between $5 and $8. I've not been compelled by any of those reasons. Yo, Cybersword dropping a 10 bomb. We're doing this. He's taking us to the doorstep. 20 out of 25. My man. Donald Johnson got one. Good to see you, Donald. Alexandros, Dabbing Jesus, 1030 Media Group, Tremolo, Mudcat, Billiam, Rob, Lord Karabi, and Inno. You guys all got gifted members. We just need 5 more, and then I have to gift 5. If Cool Cat doesn't get gifted, I'm a riot. I hope when I gift, he gets one. Anyway. It's PR for Cyberpunk. Brand refreshing. A passion project and a training tool for UE5. How would it be a training tool for UE5, Robert? Right? Holy crap on a stick. Thanks for the membership. Well, that's a thank you I've never read before. Well, on a stick. Thanks for the membership, man. Hellfire got one as well. No, he didn't. No, Hellfire didn't get gifted. He's just talking up there underneath everybody. I don't think Hellfire... When did Hellfire get one in the last batch? No, Hellfire's got his own member. It's in UE5, right? No, Robert, that's what's so confusing about this. The Witcher 3 is in the Red engine. How close is the Witcher remake? Years away. They haven't even started working on it yet. And according to the CEO, all future product is in Unreal 5. So the Witcher 1 remake will be in Unreal 5. So that's why I'm saying, like, I'm trying to literally have you guys help me piece together a theory as to what on earth they're doing. Silver Shadow's gonna do it, helping us hit that 25 goal for this stream. Every 25 I have to give 5. So you can do this more than once a stream, but we're just looking at it once a stream. Russell Stewart, good to see Russell get one. David Dewey, Shock Trooper, Bama Glock, that's an old school name, and Azeroth Tours, thank you guys so much. Let me gift my 5. Every 25 I have to gift 5, and we appreciate you guys so much. Here comes mine. Here comes mine. Thank you guys. I greatly appreciate the help in growing the member base back up. $70 Witcher 3 after sale is over. Here comes my 5. Let's see if Cool Cat gets one. And I want to see where that puts us. Naps, Ben Allen, Darren, Brian Smith, and D. Forrest James Smith. I love seeing names that are like in chat on the regular discussing with us. I'm kind of glad Cool Cat didn't get one because he's too new. It needs to go to people that are here all the time. So I love seeing names that are here all of the time. And that puts us at 979 members. We are officially 21 members away from being back at 1,000. So thank you guys so much. I greatly appreciate the jump. The jump start. And then let me come over here and do this. That puts us past it by 5. So obviously if you guys go nuts and we hit 55, I'll do it again. I will honor it every time, but we don't push for it. Once we hit the goal, I'm very pleased. Thank you. Remember the Cool Cat guy? Whatever happened to him? They contracted the upgrade to another company before the Epic deal. They weren't doing so well, so CD Projekt Red had to come in and fix it. Wait, Priest Valen, is that true? They contracted some company to do this Witcher 3 next-gen upgrade? Is that true? I didn't know that. If I remember correctly, they said they were going to do this last year, but it got pushed to this year. Huh. That is true, says DJ Steph. Okay, so you think... Okay, I actually think that's a decent theory of, like, let's contract a company to do an upgrade. Let's contract a company to do an upgrade, and that'll give us a little bit good press in light of all the Cyberpunk stuff. Okay. I can get behind that theory because think about it. If they knew they were going to make all those announcements about all the new Witcher properties coming out, they wanted to create like more confidence in that brand again. Right? So seriously, no joking. How the blank do people think Starfield will be anything but 30 FPS on the S when Callisto, a cross-gen corridor game, is 30 FPS? I can't believe it runs better on the Pro, on the PS4 Pro. The PS4 Pro hits 1440-30. Dynamic temporal reconstruction. That's crazy to me. The PS4 Pro runs Callisto better than the Series S? What the frick? At this point, I'm hoping they don't make it 24 FPS and call it cinematic. That'll be good. That'll be a good one. A special message from Harada. Oh, they're doing a Tekken 8. They're doing Tekken 8 press circuit right now. They're pushing. They're out there. They out there talking. They out there talky talks. We have hate watchers. Oh, I always have hate watchers, bro. Do you want to see our viewership bump by about 30 people? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We don't do that anymore. We don't do that anymore. But I know you're here. Let's see here. Oh, golly. Good theory, Lono. They meant to release this with all the announcements, but it got delayed. Yeah. Right. Right on the precipice of all these Witcher announcements, they probably envisioned pushing out a free upgrade to The Witcher 3. Is The Witcher 3 all platforms? So, no, Eugene. The old platforms do get the quality of life updates and the TV series content. So if you play The Witcher 3 on old gen after The Witcher 3 next gen update, you will get the quality of life updates to some of the gameplay stuff, the camera stuff, I believe, and then you're going to get the TV series stuff. But you will not get the next gen like graphics and stuff. Here, I can read it to you. It's worth mentioning that the last-gen versions of the game on PS4 and Xbox One and Switch also get the quality of life changes. The new camera, and due to its performance impact, and the TV content, which is a nice move. That is according to Eurogamer. That's right. Same type of person to shame the Scorn developers or make cool developers like Phil Fish quit the industry? No, I covered Scorn and I played Scorn, and I told people that I actually thought Scorn was a very good game that was going to get bad press because it looked like a shooter in all of the trailers, and I actually thought it was like a really creative and good game. But yeah, I played it and gave it high praise, and I recommended Scorn to people under the caveat of it's more of a puzzly game than a shooter. So yeah, no, I actually played Scorn and gave it as a recommendation to people under the caveat that it's not a shooter, it's a puzzle game. So I don't know how many innings you're going to try to step up to bat and strike out in your presumptions and assumptions about me, but man, oh man, it's like watching a cat try to catch a laser beam. You know what I mean? You ever do that with like a red dot? You know, take a little laser pointer. It's like watching a cat try to catch a laser pointer. You just can't. It's gone. He's oddly specific in his projections. Yeah, he's very specific. He's very, very specific. Scorn has the potential to win Best Art Design. It would be Art Direction, but yes. I don't know if... Is Art Design a category? I thought it was Art Direction. Genuine cool cat. Listen to me. You're not banned because you seem like a harmless, very, very harmless kitty cat who's just angry, right? You're watching all the wrong people, man. We're very like chill here, and we're not negative and toxic. Also, you never cover JRPGs, heavy Western bias here. I know it's going to be really, really hard for you to imagine this if just by looking at me. You're really good at presumptions and assumptions, and yet, look at this face. Why do you think there's a Western bias and I don't cover JRPGs? Really, it's just hard. Really, really hard. So gifted in presumption and assumption, but you're really not good at deduction. A 40-something white guy. He really has a Western bias. It's just, I don't know why, but he does. It's bewildering. So your race dictates you not liking JRPGs? No, it doesn't. It indicates bias. Yeah. I grew up playing Western games. Yeah. I grew up in America. Yep. I'm clearly from the West. And I grew up playing Western games and Western RPGs, which creates affinities, proclivities, preferences, helps to shape those things. And, this is just basic, human nature 101. Grow up in a country where the food's very spicy. You develop a palate for spicy food. It's not very different to entertainment. So you never play Final Fantasy, but you're a game journalist. A game journalist? No, I don't write for Forbes and ClickFarm AdSense with bad takes and a lack of integrity. I don't do that. I'm a content creator on YouTube, so a game journalist. Yeah, glorified bloggers that get early access to content and misshape and misframe things. No, that's not me. Sorry about that. Played Tales of Arise. I played a couple JRPGs in my day, actually. What was the one that I liked so much? It's like a JRPG for people who don't really like JRPGs. You guys always help me remember the name of it. It's got like red triangles on the cover, a bunch of them. Scarlet Nexus. Thank you, Jaggy. You demand. Yeah, I like Scarlet Nexus. That one was good. But that's kind of like a JRPG for people who aren't really fans of JRPGs. Yeah. I also... Are you sitting down, Cool Cat? Can we get somebody? We'll do a wellness check after I say this just to make sure that you're okay. I also don't cover racing games and sports games and fighting games because I just don't like them. You can't admit that Japan makes better games, so you ignore the whole industry. I feel like someone's testing out a chat bot, like a toxic chat bot. I've come up with a very presumptive and just condescending and very assumption-laden jackass of a bot. And he'll go into YouTube chats and he'll say just outlandish, provocative things. It's just... He's basically an idiot, but I want to see what sort of engagement he can get from live streamers. And here he goes. Let's execute plan. Japanese games are better than Western games. Let's see how this one goes. Like, what the frick are you? Like, you can't be real. Tsushima was made by Sucker Punch, though. I loved and covered the heck out of Elden Ring. Who developed that? I forget. Oh, and I'm constantly accused of being a Sony fanboy. And I'm just a dumb Westerner. I can't remember who owns Sony. They're not based over here. What country is Sony from? I forget. I don't remember. I'm just a dumb Westerner. I can't remember. Anyways, I'm a real pro Sony guy. Also, ray tracing is a meme. Quit with the high standards here and respect the workers. I don't know what you're talking about. Listen. I've tried. I've tried to joke with you. I've tried to banter with you. I've tried to tell you how much I'm against crunch, and I'm very much in support of delays and respecting the workers and creating good games. I enjoy any game that lands in the palette of preferences and affinities that I've developed since I was a gamer and played a Coleco with my dad. Okay? All of your assumptions and presumptions about me have done nothing but make you look incredibly stupid and gave us a really good laugh for the last 20 minutes. You've achieved virtually nothing with your time other than feeding me humorous content to read. So, educate yourself, be a better person, and get the frick out of my chat. Don't ban him. We love the Reforge pet. No, because now we're just doing... Now he's just recycling the same presumptions. He ran out of material, so he just recycled back to respect the worker. See, that's when you know it's not fun anymore. I actually think we might need to leave Cool Cat alone. Something isn't adding up, and now I'm starting to feel concerned that they might be a vulnerable person. I don't know. I learned Lono was a journalist all along. This changes everything. Listen to me, chat. We just have fun here, all right? I don't I don't know what in the world that was. I really don't know what that was. Somebody testing out some kind of a bot. I don't know. I don't know what that was. But I'll tell you what I do know. I know that we had a great stream. Look at that. We got a nice little member bump. You know, we met a bunch of new people. I made you guys laugh. I laughed a bunch. And you know what we get to do tomorrow? If you guys are unaware, tomorrow is the Game Awards. And I am not traveling. So I get to cover them with you. I wasn't going to get to cover them, right? So we are going to get to cover them. There was big Diablo 4 news today, and we're going to check that out tomorrow. And I have something really exciting for you guys right now. Are you guys ready for this? I'm really, really pumped about this. So we started doing reaction content on this channel in the live environment, and it got good response, but I didn't like doing reaction content in the live environment. Reaction content seemed better suited for recording and uploads, and we had like a reaction channel, okay? But since we did that and had really great response over there and the videos did very well, YouTube has now made it very easy for us to do upload content here. And in fact, we probably should do upload content so that when you come to the channel and you click on the videos tab, you actually see new relevant videos. We hadn't done an upload on this channel in, 6 months. So the videos tab was looking a little scant. And today, I have a great reaction for you that I recorded yesterday about Hellblade. Somebody is saying that the Norse setting is going to draw comparisons to God of War Ragnarok, which I think is crazy. But they might be right. They might actually be right about like a Hellblade 2 versus God of War Ragnarok, and I really hope that doesn't happen. I'm going to redirect you to that video. It will say that it's a premiere, but it's not. Once you guys all get over there, I'll just push the video live to the public. There won't be a chat or anything, okay? I have another great reaction video for Friday that will be about the price increase that we're seeing on the Xbox. And that one is a good one. I can't wait for you guys to see that one. I really, really enjoyed making that one. And so I'm going to put a link in chat, and I'm also going to redirect you over there, okay? This is a new beginning of content for us to end the day with a couple of times a week. Reaction content does well. Thank you, Donald Johnson, for the $2 tip on the way out. Cool Cat should have asked about memberships instead. That's right. That's right. Every time we hit 25 members, I gift 5. So thank you, everybody who helped me do that. So, right. If you guys want to click that link in the chat or ride the redirect, it'll take you over to our very first reaction upload here on this channel. And again, it'll tell you it's a premiere, but it's not a premiere. I just do that so that I can redirect you, and then I'll push it live as soon as you guys all get over there. So you're not going to have to wait. It'll take you over there. Don't forget to support the Lego channel. It's getting content very regularly as well as shorts. That channel is called The Brick Abbey. All right? I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow should be great. Good Diablo stuff, the Game Awards. Check out this reaction video that I'm going to send you to.